Ready?
Okay, Brian. Yep, we're started. So yeah, just as discussed, we'll just talk through from beginning to end, typical buying procedure on how a novice can get started in buying a property out in the US. So obviously, first of all, they're probably going to see the listing on the website, maybe putting an offer. Brian,
All right. How are you, folks?
all good.
All right. So you see a property on our website
Yeah.
and click on it. And if it's property you want to buy, you'll call the queues to let us know you want to buy it. Right. The procedure to buy it is we need you to show the proof of funds that you can buy it, just like a realtor would want
Yeah.
when someone's purchasing a home.
So something like a bank statement, something like that.
Bank statement or a letter that authorizes you to spend that the money.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe you got a loan, for example.
Right, range. So, and we'll talk about that at another time, where you buy the home and then you can refinance it down the line to get all your money back and then buy another house. We'll talk about that in another tutorial.
Yeah.
But getting the home, time is of the essence. And typically, we have 30 days to get into closing on the house. But you're finding it on the on our website. We probably lost a few days there. So, as a general rule, we want to try and close on a piece of property as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Also, because that helps us to get the management company in place for the property, so that any utilities or finding a renter, if it's that kind of a property, to get that quicker and get everything turning faster, so that by the time you're taking possession of the property, we may have it rented, or if it needs a slight little rehab to it, it gets us closer to getting it into a positive cash flow. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of some of the reasons for time is of the essence. So now, some of those procedures are usually 9 will get you 10, which means wire the money to the title company. We use title companies to check the properties, make sure they're free and clear and can be deeded to a person with a clear title. All our properties are clear or should be clear. So, but nevertheless, we want to use that title company. So the title company will reach out to the buyer and help them in the process of buying, giving them wiring instructions, the amount they need to send, and so on and so forth.
So basically, Brian, initially though, when the title company's instructed, there'll be a small amount that the buyer will need to transfer to the title company, and that will pay for things like searches on the property to look for liens, things like that.
Well, if, for example, if you're a repeat buyer, we wouldn't have to go through like a small deposit. New time buyers, we might have to require a $1,000 holding fee to give to the title company on the contract of purchasing of the property.
Yeah.
And that is applied to the total price of the property. So
yeah. So it's like a deposit to show your commitment.
Right. In certain cases, we're acquiring these properties from other wholesalers or dealers in the area, and soon across the country. They all still require some kind of commitment level. and usually, or typically, it's $1,000 like down payment on the property, and the contract itself initiates the whole process. The sooner that you can execute the closing of the property, so that we can take possession and get a management company in place to take care of the property for you, or if you want to do it personally yourself to get the renter in, or sometimes some of these properties have a renter in already.
Yeah.
So we have a smorgasbord of homes to offer to our investors and buyers. So we try to meet that criteria. We also they can buy purchase the property. We can help renovate it for them, put a renter in for them, and then they don't actually ever have to touch the property. So, but speed or time is always of the essence in these type of investments. Because it's kind of like the early bird gets the worm.
Yeah.
That one before, but most cases, the early guy gets the deal. Okay, if you don't have the funds, you shouldn't be bidding on them. If you have the funds, by all means, we can find you the right investment home here. If you want multiple homes, we can do that as well. So, whether you're a first-time buyer or brand new at this, which is the same, or a seasoned veteran, you can find that we can accommodate your needs at any level of investment, and we look forward to working with you. So.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, first step, title company will go away. They'll check, come back with some kind of report, I assume, to say, okay, property's all clear, or maybe they'll come back with some outstanding taxes or something like that.
Yeah, the title company is going to handle all those closing costs. Typically, it's a 50-50 split. The seller and the buyer meet in the middle for closing costs.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of these wholesalers out there, they want the buyer to pay all the closing costs.
Yeah.
So we'll disclose that in the contract.
Yeah. So the purchaser will know up front.
Our contract clearly state who's responsible for that, and so that's really the only things you need to read carefully as far as closing. Who's paying closing costs? Typically, they're an average of about $700 for closing. Setting aside, some properties might have back taxes to pay that they want the buyer to pay. So, but generally, taxes come out of the sale itself. The title company will set aside, out of the money being paid for the home, those taxes or back taxes from time to time, and that will get paid on closing to the tax people, and then the rest of the money is applied to the seller.
Okay. Okay, good. And
I do apologize, Zul. It's very, very difficult to hear you. So let's leave this simple for now. We can expand it. Maybe if I can move outside or something.
No, I think we're halfway through almost, and
I'm gonna move outside here a second. Let's see if we can get a better thing going here. All right, I'll be right back. It's a little bit quieter out here.
looks like nice sunshine there.
Well, it's actually getting dusk here, so.
Oh, right, it's the light.
I'm over here at Tony's.
Captain Tony.
Pizza joint here.
Nice.
I met with one of my wholesalers. We were doing another deal here, trying to procure it anyway. So I can hear you much better now. So.
Okay, good. So yeah, I think we've got the gist of, okay, so listings there, person's interested in the property, they've put in an offer, the offer's kind of like everyone's agreed the figures, title company's been instructed, and the title company comes back and says, okay, everything seems to be okay with the property. What happens next? What does the purchaser need to do? You know, do they need to get money
Well,
ready?
the purchaser or the buyer or
Yeah,
investor will wire first the $1,000 initially within 3 to 4 days to the title company,
yeah.
and then somewhere before closing, or if they, a few days before they want to close. I think if it's a overseas wire, they want to maybe 3 to 4 days before closing. They
I'd say about a week before.
go
I'd say,
directly to the title company to a bank account that's been set up solely for that property and that transaction.
okay,
They're like the arbitrators for the property. If for some reason the deal doesn't go through, they just will send the money back to the person that sent it. So, for example, if that's rare, because more than likely before spent any more money, the title company has found any issues with the property that may have been needed to be addressed. If they were like, again, like back taxes, all of a sudden they'll say, oh, they notify the seller, hey, we found some back taxes. Or sometimes it's as silly as the city might have cut the grass for them while they were on vacation or something. Notify them. It could be any silly thing whatsoever.
yeah,
Title company finds all these things, lets each party know, and it's taken out of the monies paid for the property. So it's not,
okay,
it doesn't really come out of the buyer's pocket anymore, other than some of the transfer taxes, for example, or the transfer fees
yeah. So,
is sometimes split between the buyer and the seller. Sometimes the seller will mandate or want the buyer to pay all costs, which is roughly about $700 in for the title company to do all their work that they do to make sure you're getting a clean, marketable title.
okay, just to confirm as well, the funds that the buyer will send over to the title company, that will sit in an escrow account basically. So those funds are not going to go anywhere
Correct.
until closing, basically. So those funds are safe.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Because that escrow account is pretty important in that the buyer's protected. If there's anything wrong, the deal doesn't happen like you say, the funds aren't going anywhere. You know, they're sat in that escrow account.
Well, it's safe to say to let all our customers know we treat their money like we treat our own money. We were very careful with it. We don't want anyone to have a bad deal with us.
Yeah.
We want to treat them like family, really. So it's important to us that we make them money with their own money, or help them to make their money with their money. So
Yeah.
that's why we're doing this. We have some more interesting things coming up soon with more tax advantages for the buyers and investors that are wanting to buy multiple properties and getting the better return on their money. So there's a lot of exciting things coming here, to say the least. So, but for now, yes, we protect their money just like our own.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
ways to do that. We can talk about those things at another time. But
Okay.
for
So,
right now,
sorry,
that
go ahead.
process is it's the way it's been done for like eons now, many years now, and it's always to a title company, and that protects both parties.
So, Brian, so the next step is basically on closing day. What happens on closing day? What exactly is going to happen then?
On closing day, typically, if you are out of the country, they'll do what's called a DocuSign, which is just merely a document that they email to you. You can sign it via your email nowadays, pretty much, or it's a program that's sent to you through your email.
Yeah.
You can sign that, and then it just goes back to the title company. And it's just as good as you driving all the way to America, getting off the plane, walking into their office, signing in their office. So just as good.
Yeah.
And if you're here in America and you happen to be on a trip, you want to come to like Cleveland, for example, to see the Rockin' Hall of Fame, for example, we welcome you to see. Come on. We have many nice places here to visit. I think you have the Christmas Story House, right? You got 3 major ball teams here: the football, basketball, and baseball. So
Cleveland Browns, is it? Who's the Cleveland? Is it Cleveland Browns?
They're doing better here. So, but
pretty famous.
if you happen to be in town, you can certainly walk into the title company's office. They're not too far from Cleveland here. One of the ones we use. And then we use another one that's more fluid throughout the country. So if we're going to do a deal in another state, we'll use them. And if it's a local thing, we'll use one of our local title companies here.
Yeah.
One of them is Northern Title, if you actually want to know the name. And that's the local one here that we'll use.
Okay. So basically, sorry, go. Yeah. So, okay. So at closing then, everyone signs their specific contracts, and then title company will close on the property. They'll release the funds to the seller. And basically what we're saying is the new buyer becomes the owner of the property at closing.
Yeah, at closing, not before. Generally speaking, you really don't want to take or do anything to the home until after you have possession.
Yes.
Because not to scare anybody, but you're going to make a deal with a home buyer, and they go to sell their house and they drop dead on you. you have a contract in place, but now you have some other issues, which we won't discuss right now. But that doesn't happen usually, but things happen in life, so we always want to be protected in all stages of what we're doing. So that's again why the money's put into an escrow with the title company, and it's sitting protected until those documents are signed, and then the money is transferred.
Yeah. Okay.
And you technically become the owner at that time. The title company does have to file paperwork with the county to register you or whoever bought the property as the new owner, which is more of a formality than a realism. But the title company sometimes will give you the keys right then and there, or the management company you put in place will get the keys, or sometimes you can have it in a lockbox on the house itself for yourself or the management company to go to. We were doing some of the management for some of our newer buyers, so to help with the transitions and all that. But we have the means to help anyone to do whatever they want. So we have the expert people in place, to take care of their money just like our own. The transfers of ownership and so on and so forth. So it's a good deal.
Yeah, just to summarize there then, basically after closing is done, what we can do is we can help out with things like, pick up the keys, organize a management company, maybe get involved in renovations, help them try and find a tenant. But we can probably do another video on that and get into more details on that side on a later date, I think.
Correct.
Okay,
So
Brian.
we can get it done, no problem. And looking forward to working with everyone that wants to go roll with us.
Yeah.
We bigger things coming up here in the very near future. I hope everyone sticks around.
Yeah.
If you again, if you're new, we'll make you an expert in no time, and we're happy to serve you, and hope you'll join us in the future for all the new coming exciting investments that we have coming in here in Cleveland and actually across the country as well. So
Yeah.
and with that, actually my battery's getting low, so I'm gonna
Okay.
say bye.
Okay. Thanks, Brian.